We've only heard from Pemex through statements tonight. The company, which is based in Mexico, has not really said anything about how this happened. ABC 13's Jessica Willey and Luke Jones are standing by live. And Luke, we'll begin with you. The sheriff said at least 2 people are believed to be dead, but this is important. They have not yet been able to get into that affected unit.
Yeah, and that's because they're still worried about exposure to this chemical inside the walls of that facility, that Pemex oil refinery. So there could be more bodies when they finally do make it in tomorrow morning. They're saying it's going to be about 7 to 8 hours before they can go in there. I do want to really quickly, though, run through the timeline here because this is important, and maybe we can look at some video we shot from earlier. So this all happened at 4:40 this afternoon. The sheriff, Ed Gonzalez, saying workers were working on a flange. At some point, a chemical was released, hydrogen sulfide. It's unclear what caused the chemical leak, but then the city of Deer Park, they weren't notified about this by that company until 5:23, and then sometime after 7, the city chose to issue a shelter in place for all Deer Park residents. Now we know shortly after the city was notified, the company was putting out notices to other businesses in the area telling them that they were doing some flaring, but they didn't mention this chemical leak. They didn't mention that people had been injured, and they didn't mention 2 people had died. And by the way, we're hearing at least 35 people impacted in some way by this chemical leak. We don't know how many of them actually went to the hospital or how badly they were affected, but those are the numbers from the sheriff, Ed Gonzalez. And again, just like the death count, by tomorrow, we could be talking higher numbers here. Now, we've been trying to get answers from Pemex. It wasn't until 8 o'clock that we finally got a statement from them just confirming when this happened and that it was a chemical leak, but they weren't even telling us what chemical was released. At that point, we were only getting that from the city of Pasadena. Now, this hour, the shelter in place for Deer Park has been lifted, and that's despite reports of a rotten egg smell here in Deer Park and neighboring Pasadena, even reports from as far away as Pearland. But the mayor denied at a news conference that just wrapped up, telling us you don't want to go with what you're smelling. Take a listen.
You wouldn't want to go around making decisions based on what you smell, so we made these decisions based on the air monitoring data that was being done inside the facility and outside the facility by at least 2 to 3 different monitoring. It's an active incident, so let's just put it in that context. Until certain aspects of that is totally confined and they're able to secure all of that, it's going to be an active incident inside that fence. But again, the monitoring is ongoing and will be ongoing until all of this is totally secured to ensure, which is part of why we made the decision. We feel very comfortable. There's been nothing in this community that we should be concerned about.
And as you heard the mayor there say, some of that air monitoring data is coming from the facility itself, from Pemex. Another source, Harris County Air Pollution Control, they frequently go around in these situations. They do their monitoring, and then the city of Deer Park, they have a company they contract with to do their own air monitoring. Of course, those test results have not been released to the public yet, but we do understand that a representative from the TCEQ is here in town today, also keeping an eye on this situation. But now we're live in Deer Park. Luke Jones, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.